If you think great leaders don't need to be great managers, you've probably got a blind spot, and it's costing you more than you know. Welcome to Moments with Marty, your short, sharp shot of leadership insight to help you to stay on track between our weekly episodes of the No Bullshit Leadership podcast. It all started with a LinkedIn post from Simon Sinek jumping on the leaders good, managers bad bandwagon. This took me back to a myth-busting episode we produced in 2023 where I contrasted leadership and management and clarified why the two are virtually inseparable. In that episode, I said, leadership and management live on a continuum within a spectrum of subtle gradients. They're intrinsically linked and they can't be separated by black and white distinctions. You can't be a great leader unless you're also a good manager. And the converse is also true. You can't be a great manager unless you're also a good leader. Many years ago, as a corporate executive, I didn't understand this relationship until I admitted the flaws in my own execution and did the work to correct them. I used to think that I was brilliant at execution. My teams were delivering incredible outcomes, and I'd built a strong track record on the back of that. I may have even started to believe my own bullshit. But as we know, today's rooster is tomorrow's feather duster. I had an Achilles heel. My style and my approach worked superbly for my high-performing direct reports, who were strong and confident, but for others, it just wasn't that effective. And I hadn't yet worked out that I needed to adapt my one-size-fits-all style, the one that mostly worked for me, to a more consistent and more surgical approach. As I look back now, I reckon I was always pretty good at a few things. For example, setting challenging but realistic expectations, giving clear, direct feedback, being a sounding board for problem solving and decision making, and bringing motivation and pragmatic optimism to every situation. It's a pretty decent laundry list, right? I'd even go so far as to call it good leadership. But let me tell you where my blind spot was. I didn't inspect the outputs thoroughly. And because of that, there were a few situations where I got nasty surprises. A project that wasn't quite as far advanced as I'd been told. A scope of work that wasn't quite contained. A milestone that hadn't quite been met. To resolve those issues, I had to become a better manager, not a better leader. This wasn't comfortable for me, and it took me a while to get the right balance. But moving my language from tell me to show me made a massive difference. It enabled me to inspect outputs more diligently. It sharpened the whole reporting discipline. My people figured out pretty quickly that I wouldn't take their word at face value. And it gave me much greater visibility of true progress while I was able to intervene at a much earlier stage, without dipping down into the detail of my people's work and micromanaging them. So the next time you hear one of those hackneyed management versus leadership rants, you'll know better. A lack of strong management guarantees inferior performance. If you want to lift performance, put your desirable leadership attributes aside and learn to manage better. If you want to uncover my 6 key levers of execution excellence, have a listen to episode 371 of the No Bullshit Leadership podcast, How I Learned to Produce Exceptional Results. We'll leave a link in the show notes. I really hope you enjoyed this moment and that it gives you that extra little spark to be a no bullshit leader.